Growing up as a young boy in my father's house, there was an aquarium with fish, and I used to be fascinated by the movement and the peacefulness of the fish in water. It's amazing how specially they've been made with various species. In fact, the angelfish is native to the Amazon River Basin in South America, where they live in slow-moving, dimly lit waters, moving among the roots and plants. The Amazon is the largest rainforest and river system on Earth. Now, generally, fish are aquatic vertebrates with internal backbone, which gives them structure. Also, the fish has gills. These gills help them to absorb dissolved oxygen in water. They also have fins, which are paired or unpaired, long or short, depending on the species. And the fins are basically for movement, balance, steering, and propulsion. They are cold-blooded animals, which means they have an internal regulation of temperature to their surrounding. They also have a protective layer of overlaying scales, which could be bony or spiny. In fact, fish basically are amazing to watch. But if you take the same fish out of water, the gills stick together and collapse due to surface tension. Because the gills collapses, there is no way they can absorb oxygen anymore. And because oxygen is not taken in, there's a build-up of carbon dioxide in the system, and it cannot be excreted. Therefore, their blood becomes acidic and they suffer suffocation. They exhibit a vigorous struggle between 2 and 20 minutes, depending on the species of fish. The agony in the eyes of the fish out of water can cause a merry heart to melt. Now, a man that doesn't hone his mind is like a fish out of water. A woman that doesn't understand how to use her mind is like the fish out of water. You are suffering suffocation, yet not knowing. Revelation 3 verse 1 puts it plainly. It says, I know your works. You have a name of being alive and you are dead. So someone who doesn't hold his mind is as good as dead, but yet has a name of being living. I know that sounds instructive. If you do not understand how to own your mind, you are like the fish out of water. If that is all you're going to take today, that is the bedrock of my message. But let me take it further for you to understand what I'm talking about, for you to understand how to really own your mind. Now, if the serpent came to deceive Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden just because of their mind, I'm sure by now you will understand that your mind holds volume to life. Your mind holds your destiny. Your mind holds everything that you ought to have. In fact, you are a spirit who has a soul living in a body. And your mind is the battleground. Your mind is everything. Your conscious mind is the objective mind, which has the capacity to distinguish between good and evil. Your conscious mind is very important and germane to your life because that is where the thoughts exist. And thoughts don't exist outside words. So words are framed up in your mind as thoughts. And your conscious mind can distinguish between what is good and what is evil. Now, what is evil is not necessarily sin. What is evil basically are past thoughts, past events, unbeliefs, or beliefs that are detrimental to the progress of your life. These are the evil thoughts. The good thoughts, however, are the thoughts that propel you into moving into action, to proving to yourself that you are more than this. But most of the time, we find it hard to be in the present moment in our thoughts. Science has proven it that 60 to 70,000 thoughts run through our minds per day. So I am wondering what exactly has been running through your mind. You need to take a step out of yourself to realize the thoughts and to think the thoughts that are ruminating in your mind. This is very important. And this is exactly what you need to hone your mind. Guess what? The roadmap to your self-discovery is your mind. Your mind is your map to self-discovery. If you cannot hone your mind, you cannot understand yourself. You cannot come into mastery of yourself. And you cannot give what you don't have. You can't love your neighbor beyond yourself. So what you're actually giving your partner, what you are giving your spouse, what you are giving your friends, what you are giving your neighbor is actually the least or the next to the best of what you love about yourself. In fact, you can't even love any other person more than yourself. So what you actually give others is less than what you give yourself. So what exactly are you giving yourself? What amount of love do you have for yourself? If you don't know yourself, then you have not truly loved yourself. If you don't hone your mind, then you have not truly loved yourself. Because the roadmap to self-discovery is understanding your mind. And understanding your mind starts from understanding your conscious mind, which has the capacity to understand or distinguish between what is good and what is evil. In the space of the conscious mind, thoughts become belief. How do they become belief? They become belief when you continuously think about it over and over again. See, I can assure you that if you start to think about the thoughts in your mind, you will discover that 70% of the thoughts in your mind are from past experiences. 70% of the thoughts that ruminate your mind are from past events, are from discussions that you've had from many years ago. And you still ruminate over them as if they are true without questioning them. And if you don't question these thoughts, they keep coming again and again. And that is why you hold your life to your past most of the time, because your conscious mind is basically in the past. And when your conscious mind is basically ruminating, thinking over the past, what you are simply doing is you are creating the past in your future. And your experiences cannot be different. But today, I charge you to start questioning your thoughts. When your thoughts start drifting to the past, you need to stop at that moment and stop your mind at that moment by auto-suggestion. When you are able to stop your mind in that process, you are able to cultivate the habit of bringing your mind into the present. Living in the present is amazing. I am telling you, living in the present is amazing. A new life can begin from being in the present thoughts in mind. And that is why you have anxiety. That is why you have fear. That is why you have depression. Because you are simply mirroring your future by your past. And that is detrimental. And that is why I am telling you that the roadmap to your self-discovery starts from understanding your mind. Now, you need to understand, for you to take hold of your conscious mind, you need to understand the transmitters, the feeders of the conscious mind. The major feeders of your conscious mind are your eyes and your ears. What do you hear on a daily basis? What do you see on a daily basis? If you can guide these two parameters with all your life, as if your life depends on it, because it does, you will discover that your conscious mind will begin to change. And when your conscious mind begins to change, your life begins to change. I believe this message has blessed you. Until next time, keep focusing on the bright side of life.